So, hi everyone. My name is Abby. I am with AKLU. Myself and Marissa are here today to talk to you about virtual work from home best practices. This is just so you guys have a little bit tips and tricks under your belt to learn from to be the most efficient that you can be at home, continue to be productive, and get all your work done. So, I'm going to dive into a little bit about myself, who I am, so that you guys know who is talking at you, not just some random person from ALCU. Again, my name is Abby Campion, and I am a college relationship specialist. I started off at ALCU back in 2018, and I was actually on our sales side. So ALCU is a staffing firm, and we primarily hire for our sales side of the office. So I was a recruiter in one of our divisions, the pharmaceutical division. And I absolutely loved it. You know, when I started back in 2018, of course, you know, I loved the aspect of being able to be on the phones with different people every day and establish relationships. And I really enjoyed my time on the sales side. About a year into working at ALCU, you know, I was still a recruiter, but I was approached by my manager at the time. Her name is Tyler, and she just said, "Hey, Abby, like, we love having you in pharma. We think that you're doing really great. However, I wanted to mention a new role that's coming out. It hasn't been announced to the company yet, and I wanted to just see what your thoughts were before it's announced." And it happened to be the role that I'm in right now. And took a little bit of time to decide, you know, what kind of direction I wanted to go in. It was, you know, something to consider, heavily consider, you know, switching from revenue to the corporate side of the office does happen once in a while, but not super common. And it's even more rare to have your manager actually approach you about a position that's not on their team. And so, you know, I talked about it with my manager, and we at the time, and we decided that I was going to go for it. You know, I was really excited about it when she first initially mentioned it. And after talking with my family and some of my friends, I was like, okay, you know, I think that I'm going to go for this. We should do it. So I interviewed, and I got brought onto the talent acquisition team as the college relationship specialist back in October. And I definitely am so grateful that I did make the transition over. Like I had mentioned, I loved being on the revenue side. I loved dialing the phones and being a recruiter, establishing relationships. But, you know, it was really unique that my manager recognized some traits in me that would be better served in another group. And I think that's one of the things that makes ALCU so special, is that we do put our best people in the best situations. Not saying that I'm the best, but it's a great opportunity that I was approached about it. And I couldn't be more thankful for it. So that's kind of my, you know, my career path within ALCU. And as you guys can see, I did start off as a veterinary technician. I know it's going from, you know, one point to a whole another point. I feel like when you're talking about sales, you don't really know what you're talking about. At least myself personally, I did not know what staffing meant. But then when I had a few friends that worked at ALCU, referred me over, and the rest is history. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Abby. I am joining Abby in this presentation this morning. I'm happy to be here. I work very closely with Abby within the talent acquisition team. I actually started with the company, just to go over a brief background, when I was an intern. I was a senior in college. I did a winter break internship, and then I started full-time after graduation. And like Abby, I started on the sales side as a recruiter, and that was in June of 2014. In September of that same year, similar to Abby's situation, my manager, as well as myself, we were kind of talking about the role I was in. And at the time, the company, we were just 35, 40 employees maybe. And we realized that my strengths would maybe be best suited in another area. So I met with the CEO, and he told me about a couple of roles that were brewing in his mind, things that the company was going to need. So internal recruiting seemed like the best option. It was sort of, and it is sort of, sales and marketing and HR kind of thrown in a blender. And I transitioned into that role. I remember I shadowed him do the CEO, he was doing the phone screens at the time for internal candidates. I shadowed him do one, and then he wished me luck, and haven't looked back. So 2017, I was promoted into management, and I now oversee both the college relationship development team that Abby represents, and then internal recruiting. So once these college students are meeting Abby on campus, we have a team of internal recruiters that will then take them through the interview and the hire process. And in my short 6 years in the workforce, I would have never, if you asked me, you know, when I was a senior in college, where would you be today? I would have never expected this, but you know, Abby and I are really fortunate to work for an awesome company that really recognizes people for their character traits and their strengths. And you work hard, you prove yourself, you'll be successful. So we're here this morning too to share with you guys some work from home best practices and what we've learned over the last, what is it? This is week 6 since we started working from home. So it has been quite, there's been challenges, but there's also been victories. So we're happy to dive into those with you guys right now.
Yeah.
So prepping for your virtual day. This is something that we've all found really important. Actually, the talent acquisition team, we've had several meetings over the last couple of weeks about how we are doing these sorts of things to really better our experience during the day now that we're all online. So first and foremost, paying attention to your calendar. That's really important. I'm sure as a student, you have, you know, different things happening. You have class time. Maybe you have different breakout meetings with other students. Maybe you have group projects. Things are, you know, being thrown on your calendar probably that you aren't used to. So really taking the time, whether it's early in the morning, at the end of the day, both, to really understand what's on your plate. Maybe what break times you have and things like that. Continuing your morning routine. That has been something that I definitely fell off the tracks a little bit with this when we first started working from home, but definitely back on it now, and it is so beneficial and so valuable. If you are, you know, getting up at the time that you were used to, if you are doing the things in the morning that you used to be doing when you would be, you know, getting up and going out of your dorm or going out of your apartment to get to class, just doing those things still now from home, it's so important in your mind. You know, you're kind of tricking your mind into thinking that that you're leaving. So that's been helpful. Creating to-do lists the night before and the morning of. This has been really great too. Like I was saying too, in a couple bullet points before, there's a lot of different things that might be thrown our way now. So making sure you're keeping a list of everything that has to get done, because our routine is definitely off and it's shifted. And you know, what can happen too is now your workload sort of might bleed into after hours. So just making lists will help you mentally, I believe, stay organized and really hold you accountable for your productivity. Your workplace setup. This was a challenge too in the beginning. It's definitely hard. I know this morning I was talking to Abby before we jumped on here, and I now have a standing desk that I created from a printer and a basket that was holding blankets. So I had to switch it up because my posture, my neck, it was just getting really bad. So recognizing those things and making sure you're creating a workplace for you that you feel is going to make you comfortable and, you know, really kind of stimulate those brain cells so that you can have an awesome day, however long it may be, that will keep you focused too. Dress for your day. This has been something that we've been learning about too. So I think a lot of our teammates, we talked about, you know, maybe the first couple of weeks, it was so easy to just roll out of bed. You're in the same sweatpants. Maybe you put on, you know, a different top, brush your hair. And that was working maybe for 6 days, 7 days that worked. But then, you know, getting into that third week, it was really important for us to really get up. Let's put something nice on, you know, maybe, you know, brush the hair a little longer, tie it back, because I really believe you know, you look good, you feel good. And that is, you know, that's been keeping me, I guess, alive. For me, and this is just a little personal tidbit, but doing my hair is really the only activity I can do where I don't think about anything else. So other people, it might be running or knitting or reading, but for me, I just do my hair and I practice it, and it has really kept me sane, I want to say, in this work from home. So get dressed, you know, do your hair, and you'll kind of get in that mindset too for good productivity. Limited distractions. This is difficult too because everybody's situation is different. You know, people, you might have roommates, or you might be back home with family, or you might be alone, right? And kind of that complete isolation, but doing your best to really limit your distractions and do everything in your power to kind of keep you focused, whether it be switching up the room that you're working in. I wish we could go to coffee shops and work right now, but I know we can't do that. So just little things, those small tweaks that will really make big impacts, I think, make up this bulleted list here.
Yeah, absolutely. And just something to add to that, just a little personal story as well. In the beginning, when we first started working from home, I definitely did not have a set routine. I think obviously with just the rush of having to go and work from home and everything happening really quickly, I didn't have time to be like, okay, Abby, you need to continue, you know, waking up at the same time and taking the dog for a walk in the morning and, you know, making coffee. I just never put those together that I should be doing this in order to set myself up for a successful day. So, you know, week 2 came around and I'm like, okay, like I am waking up, you know, a little bit later than I really want to. And, you know, I'm not really setting myself up in the way, you know, it really does begin in the morning, how your whole day is going to go. So I said to myself, okay, I'm going to set my alarm every single day for 7 a.m. It's still, I have a whole 45 minutes more to sleep in than normally if I wasn't working from home. So that in itself is a treat. And then I decided, you know, when I was in the office, when I would come into the office every day, in one of the kitchens that we have a coffee pot, and I would always make coffee in the morning. So I decided to go out and buy a little Mr. Coffee coffee maker. So now in the mornings, I make my coffee, I wake up, I, you know, try and do a quick workout, or, you know, I just get myself organized for the day, and I make sure I sit down, you know, 10, 15 minutes before the day officially starts with my coffee that I just made. And it's the sense of normalcy that has just provided in itself has made the world of a difference. So everyone, no matter if you guys are here with us right now listening to us, or if you're listening to us outside of today on a recording, just know that you are not alone when it comes to being confused with setting a schedule and setting your own pace. Be patient with yourself, you know, try and do one thing, like Marissa doing her hair, myself making coffee, one thing, and then the rest will kind of come together for you. So, making the most of your virtual day. So, collaborating with employees on SMART daily and weekly goals is very, very important. So SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So this kind of goes hand in hand with creating a to-do list and setting yourself up for success the day before. You really just want to make sure that you are also not only making a to-do list for yourself and keeping yourself accountable, but, you know, talking to your manager, talking to other people on your team, making sure that other people understand what your goals are, whether or not it's, you know, a goal for the day or a goal for the week, whatever it might be. Knowing them for yourself and also having other people hold you accountable goes a long way when you're working from home. It's been really nice on our end in terms of talent acquisition. You know, we meet 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, making sure that we're all staying connected. We go over in our meetings what we're working on that week, what we're working on that day, and sharing them with one another, so that even if we're not together and not able to actually tell people these goals, we're able to still see our faces, keep each other in check. And that has gone a really long way. If you guys are, working from home, if you're with your parents, if you're living alone, whatever your situation might be, even sharing it with people who might not be your classmates or people who aren't your colleagues. I do have a roommate. And at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, this is what I did today. This is kind of how my day went. She's here sometimes when I'm working, and it's been also really cool for her to see me working and kind of see me achieve, do different things throughout my day and reach my goals. So sharing it with other people inside and outside of the workplace will just help you reach those goals a lot faster. And it's nice to have some support. Making every single meeting on time. So I myself, and I'm sure Marissa agrees, when we are on the road on campuses or if we're in the office, it can be overwhelming the amount of meetings that you're in. We definitely have a lot throughout the day. And now that we are working from home, sometimes you might not be at your computer as much as you would be when you're in the office. Maybe you stepped away to fill your cup of coffee, or maybe you are running a little bit later on another meeting. Making sure that you're still on time for every single event, every single meeting is still extremely important. I feel like my example of myself, waking up kind of to like leaving it to the last minute and then just coming onto my computer and working, that, plays hand in hand to being on time for every single meeting. You want to make sure you're looking at your calendar the day before, you're looking at your calendar the morning of, seeing when you have your meetings, when you have events, so that hey, like I can step away for a quick second, go take the dog for a walk, eat my lunch, but I have to be here for this time. Keeping that sense of normalcy again, just because we're working from home, not physically there to make the meeting, it's still very important that you are respecting other people's time as well. Us here at AKLU, moving on to the next bullet, we heavily utilize Slack, which is kind of an instant messenger. I feel some schools may use that. I know that people use Teams a lot as well. They have a chat feature, whatever platform it might be, whether it's email, Slack. Just making sure that your notifications are on is really, really important. I have my volume all the way up on my laptop so that when 15 minutes comes up before an event or before a meeting, it makes a little noise. The notification pops up and I'm like, okay, I have 15 minutes, finish up whatever I'm doing, sit down, and I'm making my meeting on time, or I'm completing a task on time. I heavily recommend utilizing your Outlook calendar or whatever email calendar you have too, just to keep you guys in terms of tasks in line. Of course, a to-do list is great, but if there's something like I need to finish this presentation by 4 o'clock and send it in, put that on your calendar for 3 o'clock, have it done an hour early, just making sure that you're utilizing kind of the technology that we have in front of us is great. And myself, I'm not the most tech savvy person, but working from home has definitely showed me that I need to be more of. And so I've been utilizing my Outlook calendar a lot more. I synced up my Outlook and my Slack so that the two of them are combined, which has been really, really helpful. So just little things like that. And then lastly, utilizing face-to-face interaction as much as possible. So again, like I just mentioned, Marissa and I do have a lot of meetings throughout the day. I'm sure that you guys as students, as faculty members, are extremely busy as well, whether it's classes, things going on in your personal life. Just making sure that you're staying connected with people is really important. I mean, during the times right now, things are so strange, and I feel like it's natural to feel a little bit lonely, whether or not you have a roommate like myself, or if you're alone. Times are weird, and navigating it alone is not something that anybody should be doing. So if you have a question about homework, or if you, just want to chat with your professor or whatever it might be, seeing if you can Zoom call them or FaceTime them just makes the world of a difference. Every time Marissa and I meet, we're Zooming each other. We're on video chat so that we can, stay connected, see each other's faces, and not just a phone call. So it's a great opportunity to keep up relationships. This is for whether it's school, work, but also with your family members. Make sure that you're keeping the face-to-face interactions with them as well, and your friends, so that you guys, it's fun. You can still see each other. You can still be with each other, even if you physically can't be there. So Yeah, that's a little bit about making the most of your virtual day. There is a pro tip at the bottom about mini mental breaks. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that in a little bit in the next slide, actually. But that is also super important. But I will let Marissa kind of take that one away.
Abby, real quick, will you reiterate what those SMART goals are? I know it's an acronym, what each of those letters stands for.
Yep. So it's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So all those goals, every time that you're setting a goal for yourself, you have to, think of how it's smart, how you can make it smart so that you can achieve it and all the points are checked off.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
What Abby didn't mention too is that she communicates her goals and her accomplishments to her dog Sunny, not just her roommate, dog. And her dog gives her all of the encouragement and in the world. So
yeah, he does.
I
know is someone's dog barking? He heard them. he's getting up off the couch now, folks.
Oh, too funny. All right. So having fun working from home, tips from the AKLU. So we actually, we spoke to our peers and different members of the leadership team to ask, what things they've been doing in the leadership team collectively as a whole to kind of, have fun while we're working from home. Our motto as a company is have fun working hard. So it looks a little bit differently now that we are sending emails, having meetings from our dining room, our living room, but we don't want to lose sight of that. So celebrating small victories and large victories, that's been really important to us since the company started. So yes, of course we celebrate deals, right? When our sales teams make deals or our corporate teams, do something really well or complete a project. But small victories, celebrating those are really important, and especially now. So maybe it is you take a SMART goal and you're halfway through it. Celebrate that, high five your roommate, go out for a walk or, do something that night that maybe you wouldn't normally do, but figure out a way to make yourself feel good about little things that you're accomplishing throughout the day and throughout your weeks at home. Mini mental break. So I know this was mentioned on the former slide. And here's some ideas that we just have written down for that. So step outside for fresh air. I know the weather, at least here in New Hampshire, where Abby and I are, it hasn't been great, but it's getting better. We're in the 50s now. So you guys might be experiencing some warmer, nicer weather, which we're jealous of, but get outside.
78 degrees. They said 78 degrees in Wilmington today.
Oh my God.
I know.
We can dream. Girls can dream. It's okay. We'll get there. It'll probably happen in August, but we'll get there.
That's okay.
So yeah, stepping outside for fresh air. It's so important. Vitamin D from the sun, really important right now too. Do a productive chore unrelated to work. I know, maybe if you're feeling frustrated or frazzled in a moment, just kind of taking a few minutes to, put a little laundry in, do something that is going to make you kind of feel like, you did something, you did it right, whether it's fill the dishwasher or I know for me, and this might be a little crazy, but I dusted the baseboards of the house. That made me feel really good. Call a friend. That's always nice. I know I've been doing a lot of Zoom, like family reunions and, birthday celebrations via Zoom. That's been really fun. Or read a chapter of a book, kind of take you to a different place and kind of put yourself somewhere else mentally for a little while. These have all been things that have worked really well for Abby and I and our coworkers. And we definitely would love to hear if anybody is here and in the chat and wants to share what they've been doing for a mental break. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so I did want to ask, one of the things that I was wondering when you talk about ways to pass the time are there any good webinars, TED Talks, or podcasts that you guys have been listening to or watching that you would recommend in regards to, I think this is a really good time too to work on professional development and bettering yourself or learning something new. So do you have any suggestions from that standpoint?
Yeah, we see, I'm not a big podcast girl. I know a lot of people are, but I know I've been watching more documentaries on Netflix. I know a lot of colleges and employers are working together like we are to sort of provide this encyclopedia of professional development skills, which is something Abby and I every day have been working on, is recording different videos on different topics. Abby, have you been into any podcasts?
Yeah, I'm a big podcast gal. Let me look off the top. There's a few new ones that I've just got into, but I will read them off my phone for what I am currently listening to. I love the My Favorite Murder. It's these two women, and yeah, I see that other people listen to it as well. Yeah, they're awesome. They're great. They talk about different murders and mysteries, but they make it funny and also give all the details. They're great. I highly recommend them. I haven't met a person who's listened to their podcast and didn't like it. I also
fully support that.
yeah, love it. There's also Crime Junkie. As you guys can tell by the two that I mentioned, I really like murder mysteries, but they're all women who run the podcast, and usually they have like a kind of more of a light tone to it, which is nice, so you don't walk away feeling too eerie. But those are the ones that I really like, and I know that Marissa just mentioned us doing little virtual videos with an AKLU. You guys are the first to hear it right now, but we are going to be every week releasing a video, whether it be tips on how to do a great elevator pitch, or virtual interviewing, guest speaking, a little bit, a Q&A session about AKLU, a little bit about myself. So we're going to be releasing those every week. So if you folks out there are looking for a little bit something to do during your mini mental break, hop onto LinkedIn, get on our social media. Life at AKLU is our handle for everything, and feel free to watch some of those. But besides watching my own videos and listening to podcasts, also highly recommend Tiger King on Netflix. That's been a great one.
It's taking over, that show.
I think we would all fully agree on that. I know Emily and I would for sure. Yeah.
To quickly add to that, I know a book I read last year that would be a good, easy read, especially right now. And too, for the females out there, I know Abby was talking about the female podcast, but it's called Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office. I don't know if anyone...
That's a wonderful book. It's one of my favorites, Marissa. Yeah.
I read that last year, and that would be, if you're looking for, it was very eye-opening. It makes you think about things that you might be doing that you don't even realize you're doing. And, females in the workplace, it's all about, it's like 131 mistakes that females make that could sabotage their careers, their professional careers. And it's super eye-opening. So I recommend that.
Yeah, and going off of that too, I'm part of a few book clubs, and I know that has been nice to have, a book that I need to be reading by a certain time and people to talk about the book with. So feel free to start up, a book club, or start up a Netflix club and check in once a week, see where everyone's at with the show, where everyone's at with the book. That's kind of a nice way to stay connected, whether and not be about work or not be about school. Talent acquisition, Marissa and I, we do every week. Our whole team gets together on Thursdays after work. Last week, we had a gal on our team. She's a part of a band, so her and her boyfriend played the guitar and sang to us for an hour. The week before, we played Quiplash, which is just a game on a computer. And then this coming Thursday, we're doing a little workout. So, finding fun little things. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Wish me luck on that one. But, fun little things to keep you engaged with others and yourself, of course. So, I think that this is
already
just
covered
more
this.
tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just kind of, you guys can take a quick peek at the slide, just so that everybody knows the hashtag HFWF. That means having fun, working hard. That's AKLU's slogan. That's words that we live by every day. We've been kind of taking a have fun working hard and making it have fun working hard from home. So, just, of course, everything that's on here: organization, over communication, making to-do lists. Those all really speak for themselves, but all very, very important.
So what suggestions would you all have if maybe you don't have an office to work from, or you don't have a desk? I know Marissa mentioned earlier she kind of created a standing desk. Yeah, I'm at my dining room table. What are some suggestions you would give to people that maybe don't have that space, and the best way to feel comfortable in their work environment or set something up that works for them?
Yeah, it's definitely been challenging because people's, especially like where I live, it's not, it's not super large, and I don't have a ton of options to choose from, but I would recommend just try out different places. Don't just the first day you sit down, think that that's for you, because you could find that there's another little nook in your living space where you feel more comfortable. So at least just try different places. And then, do your best to be resourceful with, the printer in the basket to create a stand-up desk. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah.
Because I was feeling comfortable where I first was sitting, but then after a while it was getting stale and I wasn't feeling great with it anymore. So just switching it up, it's kind of given me a whole new outlook.
Yeah. And you can, for those who don't have desks or don't have a specific space that they can think of to work, you can always too, like I've seen a few students, if they are in their bedroom or something like that, but we always recommend, try and keep your bed out of the frame, try and keep a bathroom or a kitchen out of the frame. A lot of students, what they've been doing is taking a nice like blanket, or if they have like a tapestry or anything like that, and putting it behind them. So like blocking out anything potentially that they don't want people seeing when they're on Zoom, and kind of getting creative with it. Something that one of my friends is doing right now, she actually has her bureau and she moved her bureau over to the edge of her bed. So she kind of just uses her bed as a chair, and she has her laptop and her monitor up on the bureau. So just kind of trying to get creative, but making sure that you're also, like Marissa, saving your back, because I can't imagine sitting on your bed all day would be too comfortable. But just making the best of it if you can. One thing that we wanted to kind of end this, virtual work from home best practices is talking a little bit about something that's called Ikigai. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it before, but basically what Ikigai is it's a Japanese saying, it's a Japanese word, which really just means a reason to get out of bed in the morning. And personally, this is something we have, like I mentioned, we have weekly meetings, and last week, this was a topic that I brought up to the rest of the gals in talent acquisition, is what Ikigai is. Why do you get up in the morning? I think it's extremely important. Everything that Marissa and I just said obviously is very important, but I personally don't think that any of it can be achieved without having some sense of what your Ikigai is. So this is, navigating what your Ikigai is. You can see there's 3 different things: finding out what your values are, figuring out what the things are that you like to do, and then things that you're really good at. So for me personally, just to kind of give you guys an example, my values, I value hard work. I value loyalty. Those are just things in everyday life that, really mean a lot to me. And then when it comes to things that I like and things I'm good at, I try and think of things in and out of the workplace. So every night before I go to bed, I think about things that I really enjoyed that I did throughout my day, and how I did it, and if I liked it. So this morning, actually, I had the opportunity to run our corporate morning meeting, which was really, really fun. I loved doing that, and that's something that I like to do and that I'm good at. Being in front of people, whether it's on campus or via Zoom, and just chatting with people is something that I'm good at. It's something that I've been good at since I was a young child, getting in trouble for talking in the classroom. And then it's also something that I really enjoy to do. So every day, it switches up, things change, but you want to have something, something that helps you get out of bed in the morning. I know sometimes I was talking about it with some of the gals on our team after the meeting, and some people were like, honestly, when I buy a new outfit and I'm looking forward to wearing it in the morning, that's what gets me up out of bed. Or if I buy a new makeup product and I want to try it out, that's what gets me out of bed. And that is awesome. Like anything that kind of just motivates you to want to start your day, because I think we mentioned it in the beginning of the presentation, but starting off your day on the right foot really be like setting up your day, whether it's going to go really well or whether it's going to be kind of a struggle. And so there's a quote in here by Sarah Lewis, she wrote this huge long article on Ikigai. If you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about it, she says right here that we're constantly wanting to close the gap between where we are and where we want to be. And again, all the things that we talked about to be the best that you can be while working from home. It's really important that you guys know where that gap is, where that gap lies, and kind of how you can use your navigation of Ikigai in order to bridge the gap. So ever since I talked about this with talent acquisition, have been thinking about it every day. And I think Marissa has too. Hopefully some of the gals on the team are putting it to use as well. But try it out, every night before you go to bed. What did I do today that I really loved? And what am I looking forward to tomorrow? And making sure that you have some fun with it. So if you have tasks that you need to do throughout your day that kind of won't put you in the best mood, think about those, make them part of your Ikigai. Those are things that you are going to be doing, and try and make the best of it. Today I have to finish a paper, but I actually kind of like writing, and the subject that we're writing about isn't super bad. So just trying to find the positives and some of the negatives as well will really help with staying motivated, getting out of bed, especially now. It's hard. It's harder, I would say, to find your motivation, find what is driving you. But do this on the weekdays, whether it's with school or work, and do it on the weekends for your personal life, because we can't be doing what we normally do. So having something that grounds you and something that you can think about is really, really important now more than ever. But that's something that we wanted to throw in there. And definitely look it up. There's a few different write-ups about Ikigai and kind of how it originated in Japan. It's very, very cool. I recently discovered it in the past few weeks, and I'm really happy that I did. So I hope you guys will navigate your Ikigai. And if you do, feel free to share some of your values, things that you like to do with us afterwards.
That's awesome, ladies. I definitely wanted to ask the question. I know you talked a little bit about at the beginning about the victories and sometimes the challenges. And I think that the Ikigai, knowing why you get up every day and do what you do and staying motivated. But what is maybe a challenge that both of you all have faced during this time of working virtually? And then can you highlight one of those victories that maybe you've had during this time as well?
Yeah, I think actually Abby and I we were talking too about this morning, and I think this relates. When we first found out that we were going to be working from home, our reaction, I think, as the college relationship development team was, okay, let's be proactive and let's get ahead of this, right? Because there's going to be a lot of challenges. We're going to expect that. We aren't naive to that, but let's do our best to create positivity early on. And that's when we sort of reached out to everybody that we had relationships with on campuses to see where we could help. And it's little things like this, like what we're doing today, that kind of keep us going. And we were just looking at the calendar last week for this week and realized, we have 10 events with different schools this week. Maybe the first 2 weeks of work from home when we were sending out those emails and doing that outreach was slow, but look at what's happened now. So just the mindset of this is a marathon, it's not a sprint, especially times like this. It can get easy to, or it's easy to get into a negative mindset, but figure out what you can do to be proactive and be positive and create opportunity for you tomorrow, but today.
Yeah, I think what Marissa said was on point for how I'm feeling as well. Proactivity is extremely important. I feel, again, now more than ever. Being proactive means taking responsibility for your life and actions rather than just watching how things happen. And that resonates, again, now more than ever, because, a lot of what's happening outside of our homes that's not within our control. And so that can seem daunting and frustrating, and it's again easy to get into a negative mindset. But thinking about the things that you can control, like for myself personally, setting goals within my job, setting goals, that I can attain and that I can do, and making sure that when I reach them, I'm celebrating them, and I'm keeping the proactivity alive. So I'm, setting myself up for success when we go back into the office. I'm setting myself up for success, staying in contact with college students and with different, faculty members within schools. This is, we've talked to Casey before, in the beginning when we were all working from home, we made it a priority to get on a Zoom call with Casey and talk, let her know. And Casey said the same thing to us, we're here for each other. This is what's going on. And doing that really has set ourselves up for a very successful time working from home. And I've enjoyed actually being able to solidify a lot of good relationships inside and outside the company while working from home. I think now is a great time to, take the negatives and make them positive. Maybe you have, some family members that you haven't seen in a long time, and, there's no excuse now if they can't get on a Zoom call. So get them on the call, say hello again. I know that being proactive takes time, but since you do have to consider your options, weigh alternatives, you make your own decisions in order to achieve your goals. So just having goals set up and controlling what you can control has been huge for me.
That's awesome. And I definitely I know we have a couple of other participants on the call. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay. Well, the last thing I wanted to do before we wrap up then is just give you an opportunity. I know you talked a little bit about AKLU at the beginning, but I also know that as of right now, you all are still planning your internship program for the summer as well as hiring. So if you would just talk a little bit more, in the last 5 minutes that we have here about the roles and the positions that you're hiring for at AKLU.
Yes. Awesome. I will, I'll start there. I know with the pandemic, it has certainly affected a lot of things, right, and impacted a lot of employment decisions. AKLU, we are moving forward with our summer internship program, but what may be impacted there would be start date. So it might just be starting later in the summer, but we figure we would rather, do a 3 to 4 week internship than not have one at all. So that's our plan right now. And then for full-time positions, we are bringing people through the interview process until that sort of last stage. We aren't giving out offers right now because we can't give out start dates, but we are bringing people through, identifying them as somebody that we would like to hire, and then staying in touch when the climate does change and we can solidify start dates. So that's sort of our plan moving forward with hiring. And I'll kick it over to Abby to kind of tell you about the roles.
Yeah. So when it comes to, as Marissa just said, hiring, we are actively still interviewing, and that's for our fall, winter internships, as well as, entry level. Again, right now we are holding off on giving offers out just because the situation is extremely fluid and we're taking it day by day. But the opportunities that we have, again, entry-level sales roles and our sales internship program, we have an awesome internship program. Our Charlotte office actually just happens to be one of the most popular offices when it comes to students in that area interested in coming onto the crew. And our internship is set up to lead to full-time employment with AKLU. So I had mentioned when I was going over my history with AKLU how I was a recruiter in one of our divisions. So there are two sides of the sales desk that you can pursue, account management or recruiting, and they're both extremely sales driven. The job is very metrics driven, goal oriented, and it's great. We look for students that are hardworking, money motivated, outgoing, and competitive. Of course, those are attributes that lead to a successful career in general, but especially a career at AKLU within sales. So our internship program is huge. We have, and I mentioned this to Emily before we got started, but we have what are called regional training centers, or as I like to call them, miniature AKLUs. And we have those on 3 different campuses: University of New Hampshire, University of Massachusetts Amherst, and James Madison University in Virginia. And those are offices, AKLU offices, that are designed to have students able to intern with us year round. So that has been a huge thing for AKLU. It's not only made our presence known on those campuses, but it sets us aside when it comes to how we run our internship program. It is special. So, having those little mini offices on different campuses has been a huge leg up for us and for the students. But again, for the folks at UNC Wilmington, you guys can come in whatever office that you want and be with us, the fall and the winter and the summers, which is a great opportunity. And we're always on campus looking for our next, our next wave of talent. We do hire year round too, which is amazing. So I know that a handful of folks that are at AKLU right now, when they graduated college, they did decide to take a gap year between, college and the real life. And that is okay. We don't hire right up when you're right outside of college. If you guys wanted to, take a little bit of time, then start your work, we hire year round, like I said. So, and opportunities are endless. And we do, I definitely would, if you guys are interested, we do have, again, the corporate side of AKLU. Keep on our website, it's just alku.com. And then if you click on the little tab that says Life at AKLU, it'll show you all of our jobs that we're currently hiring for. So sometimes there are finance internships or marketing roles open. So if those interest you other than just sales, keep an eye out on our website because it's constantly being updated.
Awesome. Well, thank you ladies so much today for hosting this presentation. I've actually been to your Charlotte office and gotten to meet the team there. So I know it's a great branch and a great group of people. Just keep in mind for anyone that might be attending or listening, they also have their positions posted in Handshake, so you can check them out there as well. But Abby and Marissa, thank you again so much for attending. We will be getting this recording up online as well for students that weren't able to make the session. And definitely, if there's anything we can help you with, stay in touch and we'll chat soon.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Ashley, do you want it?
Yeah.
Ooh, is this still recording? Ashley just asked a question, so I just want to make sure I can answer her before.